Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So, I was watching the new episode today of Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, and I wanted to do a video on it, but um, before I did that, it got me thinking while watching that episode, what's some of the craziest relationships, some of the most crazy, dysfunctional, just weird, you wonder how they gonna work out relationships, in Star Trek, and so I got to thinking. I was like, man, I wonder if I could compile just off just thought crazy relationships, and so I was thinking about the episode Sub Rosa. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about Sub Rosa and how Dr. Crusher is going to interact with what I can only describe as incubus or succubus. I think an incubus is for women. So I'm gonna have to say incubus, a full-fledged incubus in Star Trek, Dr. Crusher and the incubus. So, I was and that incubus turned her out too. She was like, look, man, I ain't going back up to the ship. I ain't doing none of this. But you got that. You got from they had a picture of the M113 creature from Mantrap, or as a lot of people know it as the salt sucking vampire off Star Trek. They had that on the wall, and I got to thinking, man, I was like, hold on. So this guy knew that he was shacked up with a salt vampire that looked like that, and he was cool with that. Just it was just him and that salt thing on the planet for years. I wonder how that relationship worked out. Speaking of how that's gonna work out, just on an intimate standpoint, in your brain what this thing looked like. I don't care what it turned into after that. It could turn into Carmen Electra. It could turn into Melissa Ford or anyway. Sorry, I had a moment. But anyway, it could turn into one of those high speeds. But you still realize what this thing looked like. Speaking of how you gonna interact on a we'll say sexual, on a entangled type of way, how you gonna be entangled? So Riker and what was it? Soren, Saren, what's her name? Ah man, what was this? Saren, Vera? No. Anyway, the genderless lady. Let me see. From what the Outcast episode, Next Generation. Saren. I don't believe I forgot her name, his or her name. But we know Riker like women. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but she has no gender, which means she don't have. Well, she didn't nothing. It was like a Ken doll or something down there, or a Barbie doll or something like that. I might have to say Barbie got more curves than that, and I mean it's just so far beyond love you can go. Well, it was something else I really didn't consider, but I guess that'd be all right. So, what about Picard and Elaine from the Inner Light? So, think about this relationship. All right, so one day you wake up, your husband is out. He gone. He didn't bounce. You don't know where he at. None of that. Last thing you knew, he went to bed, had a fever, maybe a headache or something like that, and you go out looking for him because you ain't got no cell phones, nothing like that. You go out looking for him, and he see you, you see him. You like, yo, man, what's up? Where you been? And he like, I don't know you. I don't know where I am. I don't know this city. I don't know this planet. Um, I'm actually this dude from far above, from far beyond the stars, and all. And this goes on for years. Think about the patience of that lady right there. That lady, she has that she has that's an alien lady right there. That was definitely not a human lady. That was definitely not a human lady. So Jordy and Dr. Leah Brahms, the holodeck version of Dr. Leah Brahms from the Booby Trap Next Generation. So First of all, let me just say, I'm surprised that more people don't fall in love on the holodeck. I think most of my free time would be on. I think I would pull a Barkley on a holodeck. I would have it would not be a holodeck would not be a good place. I'd need all kind of just sanitizing napkins. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would need sanitizer. The programs that I would run on a holodeck, okay? But he fall in love with what was her name? What was her name? You know, the holodeck lady. Fall in love with her. Matter of fact, fell in love with her so much that when the little kid decided, yo, I'm gonna pull a lady from your imagination that you got all these emotions, all the chicks that he never came across, he's in love with the holodeck lady. But I'm gonna have to say that's really not dysfunction. I don't know. I wouldn't really classify that as a dysfunctional relationship because I speaking of speaking of some things that just wouldn't work. So Sarek and Amanda, Spock's mom. So you have a human, full-fledged human woman on Vulcan, prospering. Now, how many people find that believable? How many people find that believable? I don't know what medication she was on to whereas that she kept that human woman side in check, because we all know how easily drop of a dime they can go off, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out what type. Amanda was a high speed individual to had kept the human side of her, the female human side of her in check all while she lived on Vulcan, because I'm pretty sure somebody would have kicked Amanda off of Vulcan by then. That's speaking of Vulcan, Spock and T'Pring, Spock's OG wife from back in the day, back in the mock timeline. So T'Pring, first of all, T'Pring was fine. Look, T'Pring was fine. T'Pring is look, she's the first sexiest Vulcan ever. Okay, now the second sexiest Vulcan was in Star Trek. What was it? The Search for Spock? No, The Voyage Home. Played by Kirstie Alley. Oh, oh, yes. But T'Pring, woo! Let me tell you something. T'Pring need to be in a Star Trek Maxim magazine. Anyway, so let me see. Those are some crazy relationships that I had thought of, right off the back. That you just wonder how these gonna work out, man. How these gonna work out? But anyway, I'll get to the video on the review video of Star Trek Lower Decks, episode 5, sometime today. But if you guys could think of any other crazy Star Trek relationships that you guys wonder how could these two or three or more, how is this gonna work? How did this work? And if you look at the back behind scenes of this, how did it actually unfold? If you guys want to talk about some of them, put them in the comments, and I love to rebut to rebut, as they say. But talk to you guys later. Till then, be cool.